What's up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about this amazing login event that we'll be getting with the official release of Etheria Restart in Asia. So with rewards like what you see here, like the perfect lattice or the red shadow print, but most importantly, we're going to get an LD SSR selector. Yes, you heard that right. I've been joking about it on stream for a couple weeks now. I didn't really think they would do it, but they are going to do it. So not just for the Asian servers, for every server as well. So that's really good. So too long didn't read. If you don't have Lily, you should probably pick Lily. We'll get into the character kits specifically in just a bit, but yeah, more or less you should pick Lily. Why? Because she's an absolute game changer. She makes the game very easy for less sweaty players like me, right? But if you're someone who likes to sweat, like if you're like Barcode and you want to challenge yourself, then do whatever you want, right? Barcode has a Lily in his account, but he has shown multiple times that she's still level 1 and he doesn't use her at all, which is just crazy to me. Like, you can clear all of the content, PvE content, and do decently well in PvP without Lily, but I just don't like playing like that. I need to use Lily. Anyway, let's talk about the characters that you can pick on the selector. So we're gonna go over to the game. So I have this open ready. Okay, cool. So starting off, right, let's talk about Lily. Where is she? Here she is. Okay, so for Lily, I'm not gonna go like completely deep into every character's kits because the video will take way too long. I'm just going to give you guys kind of like a quick summary of what each character does so you can more quickly make the right decision for your account. So Lily can push your slow DPS up with her S2 so that they can act earlier. Not only that, but after they use their S3, their ult for the first turn, she can also reset that S3 or ultimate skill, as well as the shell that they are running. So for example, Lily can pull up someone's, Lily can pull up your Yeli, and Yeli will use her ult with Revelation. And then the next turn, Lily can use her S3 and then reset both the Revelation and reset Yeli's S3 if it's max, obviously. But you can essentially use your ult or your most important skill, whatever it is, depending on the character, 2 times in a row right at the start of battle, and that is absolutely insane. Not to mention that Lily has, I think, the second highest base speed, only losing to Kloss, who's at 128 in the entire game. So more or less, if you don't have Lily, you should probably pull for her. Next up we have is, where is she? Is Lilium, right here. So Lilium, when she was first released, she was pretty bad. But since they buffed her or fixed her bug or whatever, she is now, without a doubt, the best single target DPS in the game. If you have the Ting, you might not need to get her, but she's definitely better than the Ting. It's just that the Ting is still very good, and you can level him up a lot easier because he's only an SR unit, right? She's very good overall because she can lock HP, she can nuke bosses, she can't be CC'd, or she can't be turn meter pushed back, so that's really good, especially in PvP against both tanks and CC. And there's a bunch of really good builds with her, so overall she is a very strong pick, especially in PvP. And PvE as well, obviously, but you could use the Ting if you don't want to pull for Lilium. Next character we'll be talking about will be Shadow Sonya. So I don't have Shadow Sonya, but more or less I know what she does. So her main kit revolves around applying dots damage over time. And she can explode those dots and do some really big damage. Overall, in PvE, she's absolutely insane for all the content that you can apply dots to, right? Because some bosses you can't apply dots to. Otherwise, she'd be absolutely broken. But in PvP, she's pretty useless. Okay, she's pretty useless. So I don't recommend pulling her if you don't have some better units like Doki Doki or Lily on this SSR selector. Okay, but she's a huge quality of life for PvE content like in Anti-Sync or Ember Trek. She makes your life a lot easier because for those really tanky floors or really tanky bosses, you can just dot them down and they die very quickly. Next up is Messiah. So Messiah is absolutely insane, especially at the beginning of the game for PvE, but he's fallen off a bit just in PvE because we have characters like Yelly, right? Yelly's just absolutely insane. However, he is my main cleaver in my cleave/CC teams in PvP. He is absolutely insane. So he ignores defense. Look at this. Ignores 70% defense. Like, just by himself. No harvest needed or anything. He just does that. So he nukes really, really hard. And he also ignores passives. Look, ignores the target's passive when attacking. So for example, if he's targeting, if the main target he's targeting is like a Holden or a Tiamat who have passives to counter attack after they've been attacked, this completely ignores it, like completely. So that is huge. He is my main cleaver right now. He's really, really good. So mainly for PvP, I would pull him. Unless you're really missing an AoE cleave, or not necessarily AoE cleave, but an AoE damage dealer in PvE, then I would recommend pulling for Messiah. But then again, I still think Lily's better, right? Next up is, where's Doki Doki? Doki Doki is here. So Doki Doki is a really good turn meter pusher as well. But not only that, she has something called backup. So she's a turn meter pusher and a cleanser. She can cleanse your team from CC or debuffs even before they attack. So usually, right? Usually if you're stunned or asleep or whatever, your character will skip their turn, right? Because they have to get rid of that CC first. However, Doki Doki's backup cleanses up to 3 debuffs if her S1 is maxed before your character even goes. So even if your character is stunned, backup activates before they have their turn, meaning that your character actually goes that turn even if they were stunned or asleep already. So that is absolutely insane. Some people actually argue that Doki Doki is the best PvP unit right now because of how flexible she is, even more than Lily. Not to mention, she has some cooldown reduction as well. So she's overall an insane pick, especially if you already have Lily. Next character is Mio. I don't have Mio yet either. But Mio is insane for PvP especially. For PvE, you can use her in places like Doki Doki, Inferno, and stuff like that. But definitely, she really shines in PvP. Why? Because she has stealing turn meter as her S3. So not only does she push your team up, she also pushes the other team down. So that's absolutely insane. And she gives speed up. And then not to mention her S2 gives wound. So that means you can't heal. So this is very good against tank teams who run like 2 or 3 healers, right? And then you also get to freeze. Freeze is the strongest CC in this game because freeze stops you from taking action, but also stops you from gaining turn meter. So if you're asleep or if you're stunned or something, a Doki Doki or a Lily can still pull you up the turn meter. But with freeze, you can't do that. So that's absolutely insane. And she also has freeze on her S1, even though the percent chance is lower, right? Because obviously that would be really broken. So she is one of the strongest PvP characters you can pick if you have other characters on this list already, or if you want her specifically for your team. So last but not least is Heinrich. Why? Because he's the best stripper in this game. No, not that kind of stripper, okay? He dispels buffs on every single one of his skills. So anytime he attacks, even with his basic attack, his S1, S2, or S3, he has dispel built in. So however many times he hits, he has that many chances to dispel any buff on whoever he's attacking. So he's really only used in endgame PvE and PvP. So if you're a newer player, I wouldn't really recommend pulling for him because he doesn't have that much use in the early game. But like I said, definitely for PvP and PvE in the end game, he's insane. He also has block, which stops buffs from being applied to whoever has this block. So he's insane in PvP against tank teams because you guys know they love buffing themselves up, healing themselves, all that stuff. So he is very good when it comes to that. Okay, so that's it for all of the characters kits. So now let's talk about who you should actually pull for, just some general guidelines. So newer players, meaning players who still have a lot of PvE to go through and you still can get a lot of rewards and gems and pulls and stuff like that. I would recommend that up until the event comes out, you should still continue pulling on the permanent banner, just in case you pull a Lily, just in case you pull a Mio, whoever, right? And then that will help you make a better decision when the event actually comes. And then now, if you're at the point, like me, where you're doing PvP, meaning that you can clear most, if not all of the Infernal bosses, I still recommend Lily if you don't have her, because like I said, she's an absolute game changer. But at this point in the game, if you're building a specific team for PvP, you should more or less know what character will boost your account in PvP the most, right? So you can make your own decision for that. Personally, for me, I've been wanting to get Mio for the longest time now because I run CC and Cleave for PvP, and she's insane for both of those teams, okay? Absolutely insane. I don't like playing tanks, so Mio is without a doubt who I'm going to pick. So overall, I think this is an absolutely insane event, okay? This event is really, really good for pretty much everybody. Considering that this event is for the official global launch with the new Asia servers, makes sense why they're giving out some insane rewards, right? Like I think I mentioned it earlier, I've been joking about this on stream to give everybody a Lily, but they actually did it because this is now officially the actual release of this game. So this whole time we've been playing in beta, we've been kind of like guinea pigs for them to get everything right for the Asia servers. So could this event save the game, right? I think we know that a lot of players aren't playing this game anymore, but I think it could. I think having a Lily selector essentially can bring a lot of players back to the game. I think a lot of players quit because they couldn't get Lily. I know myself, I re-rolled like 5 times and I got really lucky and I got Lily right in the beginning. So those are my recommendations for who to pick for the LD SSR selector. If you have any questions more specific to your account on who exactly to pull, or even just general account progression advice or tips, make sure you stop by the stream on Twitch at Sushi Lightning and ask, okay? My chat will be more than happy to help you out live on stream. Alright guys, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment your thoughts below, and subscribe. And if you're stuck on Ember Trek Hard, check out this video here.